This is basic ground driving. This is where, from a position on the ground behind the horse, I'm going to use 25-foot driving lines or lunge lines configured to Jubal here, run through his stirrups in order to move him around the pen, get him used to a little bit of lateral flexion, get him to stop, give to that pressure. And I think it's useful for a young horse. I think it may be good for an old horse as well. It's something new to him. But you have a problem horse, before you ever get in the saddle, you may want to do this. I'm using 25-foot yacht braid ropes here with a barrel snap on the end of it. You wouldn't want to do this on anything but a halter or a Bosal. Don't hook this to your bits because disaster may result if you drop the lines, horse steps on it or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to hook these to the bottom of his Bosal down here. The issue with this is new horses have a much harder time getting that flexation, that lateral flexation from the reins connected so low than they were higher, like you would maybe on a webbing halter, but he's going to be fine with it. Before you do this to your horse at home, you're going to want to make sure that your horse is good with ropes going around his back end. You need to stay put, buddy. So if your horse isn't good with ropes around his back end, drag it up on his feet, things of that nature, then you may want to do that. Sack him out on that before you ever put these ground driving lines on him, because otherwise it may result in a wreck. But I'm taking my driving lines, I'm going to run them through his stirrups, hook that bolt snap to the lower portion of his Bosal there. Get the other driving line, do the same thing. I'm going to run the snap up through his, stirrup here, and hook it again to the bottom of his Bosal. You know, because these driving lines are so close to the body, and you're not going to be able to give him a little cue to tip his head in that manner from an angle from his body, you're going to have to consider that, and your horse may be take a little bit to understand this pressure like this is not to drop his nose, but to turn his head. Anytime that you're behind your horse with these driving lines, and that's a good reason to use some 25-footers or about, you're going to have to want to stay away from kicking distance from your horse, so you need to consider that. And anytime your horse gets tied up in this, all you got to do is drop one of the reins and bend him to a stop. So don't let him get in a wreck because you're not quick enough to drop these reins. See, he's a little troubled by this right now. You know, he'll get used to it. So again, if you get in trouble, drop a rein, bend him to a stop. And you only want to use one rein at a time. So I'm going to turn him into the pen here to get him headed out in a circular manner around the round pen. I'm using one rein. Put a little pressure on him here, get him oriented. Then I'm going to send him forward. Let's go. You're going to want to obviously do this at a walk first. But as your horse gets sacked out on this and gets comfortable, you know, you can give him a little cue, slapping the ropes up against him pretty lightly at first to see what his tolerance level is to get him to go into a jog. Go. It's giving me some exercise too. Then I'm going to use my outside rein here. I'm going to bend him, then use the outside rein, which is the opposite rein, and give him a cue to go forward. Bend him and send him. I'll do it over here. Outside rein, outside rein. Come on, keep your head. And that inside rein becomes the outside rein, and I use it to send him. Again, bend him, send him. I can introduce him to a stop. Whoa. Whoa. From here, I can back him up a little bit. I'm going to turn him towards me. Whoa. And from here, release, pull, release, and get him used to that back. Again, if he gets tied up, and I'm going to artificially turn him. Come on. When he gets tied up like this and you get in trouble, all you got to do is let go of one of the ropes, get it straightened out, and you begin again. Whoa, boy. Whoa. Whoa. You did good, pretty good, Jubal. So again, make sure your horse is sacked out to the ropes around his back end and his hocks, because it's going to slip down there. Make sure you're adequate distance from his rear in case the horse gets a little concerned, starts to kick it. Use one rein at a time. If you get in trouble, drop one of them and just bend him to a stop. That's basic ground driving. I think it's good for young horses and old horses as well. And it's good for you if you want to get some exercise chasing your horse around the round pen. Good job, Jewel.